Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel, and thanks for joining us for another video. We've got updates from Ruben Amorim's press conference ahead of the Manchester United versus Rangers game, and the latest updates surrounding transfer news with Alejandro Garnacho and Patrick Dorgu. Get involved in the chat as usual, because we do want to discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. What did you think of Ruben Amorim's press conference, the feel of him?
I found myself smiling after about 5 minutes because Ruben Amorim clearly judged it right by bringing Harry Maguire alongside him today. I thought the press were there today, mainly, well, I would say not mainly, but half the questions were trying to catch him out and trying to create headlines, new headlines, based on the conversation what was had after the Brighton game. Yes, Ruben Amorim gave him the headlines, but they wanted their new headlines. And Harry Maguire sat alongside Ruben Amorim today. They went at him and tried to catch him, but he stuck to the line. And Harry Maguire, fair play to him, he batted him off, kept talking about himself. Some good things from Harry Maguire out there today.
Yeah, he did say after the Brighton game, he was giving him headlines. And he did come back, like you've just read in that article there, the snippet of it, that he was meaning more about himself than the players. What did you think of that, though? Is he changing a little bit of tactic of what you actually thought at the time against Brighton? Well, after the game?
Yeah, at times I actually lost track because the media kept coming back at him about the worst football team, the worst Manchester United football team ever. What effect would that have on the players? And that was mainly put to Harry Maguire. They were trying to trip him up. But I lost my way. It got a little bit confusing. He was getting himself out of a little bit of a hole, Ruben Amorim, but the press knew they were getting nothing from him and sort of put it in a different way to Harry Maguire. They tried to, what was the players' reaction? What was their feeling about being told they're part of the worst Manchester United football side? But Harry Maguire wouldn't say. He talked about himself. He just talked about the players are nervous. It's a weird feeling. That's what I got from it. And Harry Maguire and Ruben Amorim were sort of basically, throughout the press conference, I took this from it as a whole. Stop making excuses. That's what I took from it. Yeah. It's time to stop making excuses. Even though that word wasn't used, but stop making excuses seemed to be the theme. We know what the problem is.
Maguire actually said the players need to take more responsibility as well.
Yeah, well, Harry always says that about himself, about how he takes responsibility. He always works hard and everything else like that, But clearly, there is no more excuses. Harry Maguire, Ruben Amorim, it's a mentality thing. How many times have we heard that? I thought at times the way they were answering the questions, it was like they were on ear, things what we'd said about the game coming out before and saying, right, we've got to get the mentality right. We've got to stop the ball. We've got to stop them scoring early. We've got to make sure that we score first and all that. And Harry Maguire reiterated, really, it's a mentality thing. We're there before the game, getting it right, and then next thing you know, we're out there and the head goes, well, it's like what we've been saying, and the style and the tactics and everything else what United need to do when they get out there, the nervousness at Old Trafford, that was asked. What's making it different at Old Trafford than what it is from away games? Because, one or two of the press did say it's different when you're playing away. You've got the fight, you've got everything there. But playing at Manchester United, what's gone wrong?
At Old Trafford, Jerry did say as well that we are nervous, we are anxious. And I remember one of the journalists probing back at him as to say, well, what effect would that then have on your players if you were nervous, Amarin? But he started laughing, he started joking, because it then went on to Harry Maguire. And he then cleared that up and said, I didn't say I was nervous. I am frustrated. That is different to being nervous. If you want, I can be delusional and say things, but I say it how I see it.
Well, their words, what we use. We say it how we see it. Delusional, deluded. It was all there. And really, when we speak and we talk about the game and we listen to things what are being said, it's like it's because of Ruben Amorim being straightforward, straight to the point. He's not hiding things. He's not shying away from the conversation. He's telling you as he sees it. And it was good to hear, because when we speak, we like to try and say, this is how we see it, you know, and he's saying the same thing. But all United fans, and I think that's why all United fans are behind him, because he's saying it as we see it. He does understand how we see it, but he is under pressure. There's no two ways about that, and he knows it.
Yeah, Jam United from our members club says Amarin is doing what should have been done years ago. Also followed that up with, anyone who thought he'd sort this shambles out in months is delusional.
Well, you know, you only have to listen to us, and over the months since he's come in, since the start of the season, carnage and chaos, that's, you know, and it's going to get worse. I said it yesterday, that I've said it on a few occasions, that if you think one good game's going to sort it out, yes, you can celebrate a win, you can celebrate a good performance, but let's not take away from the long-term picture, which out there, a lot of you do understand that what's got to be done. I think the enormity of what's happening at United is clearly there with Ruben Amorim, because he has been angry, he has lost the plot, and I think he alluded to that.
He did say, because he's a young guy, and he's been thrown into a pot here with different experiences than what he's been used to at Sporting Lisbon, and it is going to take its toll. But the honesty, like we're going back to, I'm actually all for it. You know, Erik ten Hag, especially from that Tottenham game for me, it always sticks out in my mind. After that, the 3-0 loss here at home, it just didn't make sense in a lot of his press conferences. It was like he was trying to gaslight some of the fans in what we could actually see with the eye test. But Ten Hag's coming out with, it's all right, you know, trust the process. There's a plan there. We're going in the right direction. Where the honesty from Ruben Amorim, it's totally different. It's chalk and cheese. Yeah, well, and it's great to hear.
I took from him, like saying, he's a young manager. He can make mistakes, and or, you know, to that extent and all that. But also, like, I lost the plot. That's how I took it. He didn't use that word, obviously. It's how I interpret what Ruben Amorim's saying and what's going on around him, and that as though, like, it's gone wrong more than I thought it would gone wrong, and it's more hard work than I thought, and it's more hard work with these players, trying to get them to play a system, and it's frustrating, and I'm getting annoyed. And it's also like, what I took from it, it was as if to say, I've told these players, and I lost the plot. That's how I say it. I really screamed at him. I've given it him and all that. I ain't this soft underbelly where I put an arm round you and that. But you're really frustrating me, lads. You're not listening to me. And I'm angry, and I will smash things up. But it's not the right thing to do, really. That's how I took from it. And that's why I had a smile on my face a couple of times throughout it, because he has changed. And I think he's changed. And I think the Brighton game has really changed him with these players now. Harry Maguire understood that, because he was just like right next to him, proud chest out and everything, as if to say, he's all right with me, this one. It's the rest of them. That's how I took from it. And he did well, Harry. I've got to give him that.
He also made no promises, Amarin, that it wouldn't happen again. In the way he went about it in the changing room. Obviously, the reports coming out all yesterday. He was smashing tellies up, and he's only 2 months in.
Yes,
I mean, most of us out there would have been 2 days in, never mind 2 months. And like I say, for me, I'm all for it, especially him coming out and being honest the way he has done today. You know, admitting certain things, that he was frustrated. You know, he might have got things wrong, but, you know, alluding to, I might do it again. For me, that's like a proper man. Admitting mistakes as well, though. Yeah, you know, a lot of managers out there, they don't admit the mistakes. And you've got to look back to even Pep Guardiola with City at one point. I think it was around about the November time. He was self-harming. He was coming out with quotes like that, scratching his head, etc. The pressure getting to him. So it does happen to the best of managers as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure Fergie, a lot of the times, we all know the stories, losing it in dressing rooms, etc. So I don't want the media to like overhype this as though like, oh, he's lost the plot already. It's just something he's having to do at the moment and go through a process of like sorting this squad out, getting players out, getting players in, and hopefully it gets a little bit smoother from the summer onwards. Let's just hope so, fingers crossed.
I think what it is, the overall take, when you look at Ruben Amorim, the time he's spent here, I think it's a surprise to him. And I think that's what came across today, that he's only been here such a short time and he's just lost the plot with these players, that they're not listening and not doing what they should be doing. He didn't expect it to be so bad. So there is, in the background, some really bad things going on where players just aren't listening. But, you know, in the next couple of transfer windows, we hope to see a change. Will it be a big change? I don't think so. So that's how I look at it. But it is refreshing. And I like Ruben Amorim because I can talk football. He's a man what's talking football with honesty and everything else like that. And you can understand him. There's no games and that. With Harry Maguire there by his side today, I thought they were pea in a pod. They were sound. Yeah,
he did also mention as well, he doesn't have to be honest, and it would be much easier for him not to be honest as well. But I think that's why we all like him, because of the honesty. And like one of the comments I had earlier on from Jam United, you know, we're all for it. We're all backing Ruben Amorim. I certainly am anyway. Most of yous are out there. Richie David, thanks for your super chat. He says, ask Tony thoughts on Rashford back in training. Thanks for your super chat, mate.
Rashford back in training, I look at it this way. Put him in the window, make it all look hunky-dory. And by the way, Ruben Amarin never mentioned anything about... no, he was never asked the question who's playing tomorrow. But I look at it this way, and I think that's what you're looking for. Do I think Rashford's playing tomorrow? No, it'll be when he's asked about Rashford after the game, it'll be, no, he wasn't match fit. He was in training, and that's it, move on. But I don't know what to say if, well... I think you might have to watch the match reaction if Rashford starts the game. Yeah,
obviously you've seen the training videos of the actual training today. Rashford, Anthony was there, Garnacho as well. And we've seen a lot of news surrounding Garnacho, discussed it today. Updates as well suggesting that further meetings will take place in Milan with Napoli and Manchester United to reach an agreement on Garnacho. And that's coming from Di Marzio, correspondent in Italy.
Yeah, well, all the reports what are coming out now, he's being dealt with by people. He's being sold, whether that's his choice or Manchester United's. That's not been clear. I don't think that really matters. I think what matters for Manchester United, and that's the most important thing, is to get the right price. And that's what I said yesterday. That could hold up any deal for any player, to be honest with you. But if you look at Napoli, I think they might be in a strong position. United could be in a weak position. To be honest, they look desperate to get rid at any cost, to be honest with you. A lot of United fans out there, unrealistic expectations on the price. I've seen people talking about 65 million, 75 million.
I want 70 million.
You know, I think it's unrealistic. I think...
Based on
the position United are in, they're in a weak position. Do
you mean financially, or...?
That's correct, from a financial point of view. And they want to offload, and they're quite happy to offload virtually anybody at Manchester United. They've given the signal, I say they, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has given them signals out. We're in a weak position. We need to sell. We need to get money in. We need to penny pinch wherever we can. But, you know, the funny thing about that statement, what I've just said, Casemiro don't even get on the pitch. £300,000 a week, going nowhere.
Well, how much money has Marcus Rashford been picking up in wages since he last played for United? Was it round about the 12th of December? There's another player just picking up wages for doing nothing.
But that reiterates what I'm saying. United are in a weak position. They're just desperate. Them signals have been put out there, and Garnacho's in a position where I never thought at the beginning of the season. If you imagine trying to sell Garnacho in the summer, you wouldn't have been talking about 40, 50 million pound. No way. And that's with add-ons. You wouldn't have thought that, especially after like being a young lad, and you could have turned around and said he's unsettled at Manchester United. He wants to get back abroad wherever he lives, or, you know, into Spain or something like that. And you could have understood that. And then we'd have got a big fee for him. Now they're not getting a big fee. They're in a weak position. So Napoli, they look favourites to get him. The conversation's gone on. The conversation's going on with United. That's all been talked about. I just look at Chelsea's interest. Might that help when it comes to a financial position, would that help United's weakness going forward? That someone
try
else
get a little
might,
bit of a bidding war going, sort of thing.
but that doesn't seem to be happening. You know, you look around and it's people, interest, but the only real interest and conversations going on where money's been put down is with Napoli. And I think they're in a strong position here. Yeah,
from what's been reported anyway, with bids, etc., with Garnacho, Napoli, Fabrizio Romano said the opening bid from Napoli was worth a €50 million package with add-ons included. Man United want more. Antonio Conte keeps pushing with phone calls with Garnacho on Friday, then alludes to the Chelsea interest as well. But, you know, if you are looking at it, do you think he's actually in his first team plans, though, Garnacho? For, you know, Ruben Amorim? No. So, really, you know, the price what's being mooted out there of, like, let's say £40 million, now, is that about right for a player who's not going to be a starter, a regular starter?
I'm not saying what the right price is.
I'm not just asking you.
I'm not sure what the right price is. Yes, he's a young lad, potential and everything. It's all about add-ons as far as I'm concerned. I think the first payment, you have to look at appearances, sell-on value, add-ons. I think that's what you've got to look at with this. Just get what you can, and I think 40, 45 million might be the price Napoli end up paying. And then these add-ons and that. It's just a mess at the moment. I see United's transfer thing because they've opened themselves up.
Do you want him to go, Garnacho?
Do I want him to go? I don't want anyone to go who wants to play for Manchester United and who is committed to Manchester United. Like I said earlier on, I don't know if this is down to Garnacho himself wanting to go. Don't know whether there's a fallout with the club. They don't want him. But I look at this. You know, if you look over the period of time here now, Anthony's going. There's no two ways about that. He's going. You lost Greenwood. You've also lost, we're losing Rashford. Now we're losing Garnacho. That's 4 wingers. That's 4 wingers. So we've got to bring in a winger, or do we? And that's the thing going forward. That's the conversation. We've got Ahmad out there.
Well, you've just answered your own question. 4 wingers. This system doesn't allow the wingers. And like we've mentioned before, and I've reiterated time and time again, Garnacho, out of that whole squad, has the most adapting to do to get a regular start in this team. And I just don't see it at the moment. If he does end up staying, let's hope, fingers crossed, that he does adapt and start putting in performances, 7, 8 out of 10s every single week. And then you never know if he ends up staying here long term at Manchester United. But to be honest with you, I just don't see it. And it's all about getting players out the door and players in the door who can play the way Ruben Amorim wants. And that's the end of it. But Garnacho, on his day, is a very good player, playing off that left wing, hugging the touchline, doing things that we've seen him do before. But you're not going to see that now, I don't think, in this system. The worry that I've got, though, is a Manchester United always going to play with this system now for the next however many years, with 3 at the back, wing backs, and then the way it is in midfield and up top. I'm not too sure, because then if they start then changing the system in another 2 years, and then you're letting the people like Garnacho go, and then you all of a sudden start playing with wide players again. I mean, when you're getting rid of him at £40 million, roughly, 50 million.
Well, the thing is, he's coming, he's got a system, and if Garnacho doesn't fit his system, then the club have to back Ruben Amorim in moving these players on and bringing the right people in. And that's the problem. And like Kieran just touched on there, if you look at every manager what's come in since Sir Alex Ferguson, have they played the Manchester United way as we all know it? I think each manager what's come in has ended up buying players to suit their system. And I think that's when you look over the last 10 years, when each manager's gone, we've ended up, as we would say, with a load of deadwood, what don't suit the new manager. Then we have to go out there and spend mega money. If we played, as in like Barcelona play, he played the Barcelona way. Doesn't matter which manager comes in, that's the way you're coming in to play. We'll tell you how to play. Yeah. But now Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come in and he's told Ruben Amorim, this is the way we want to play. So he's got to change it. He's got to put his money into it. But every manager has come in. Why don't we just settle? Why haven't we settled with each manager and say, no, you're coming into this football club to play the Manchester United way? And no manager's done that. Each manager's come in to change from what's gone on before. Well, what's gone on before was a successful football side with Manchester United over a couple of decades. Now, Ruben Amorim's here. How long will this last? This, how can you say, formation, these tactics with this manager? Because if they don't work, then Ratcliffe will be ruthless, even though he brought him in.
Yeah, the Destroyer, thanks for your super chat, mate. It says, Amarin is the Portuguese Graham Potter. 3-4-3 is dead. Well,
I don't know if it's dead. I don't really know many teams what play it. And those what I see play it, adapt during the game. They don't rigidly stick to it if things are going wrong. Whereas what I've seen at the moment, and you have to sort of hold your horses here, it's only been a couple of months with players what don't know how to play this system, or
but even with
getting used to this system. Okay, they've not adapted into the game. Ruben Amorim hasn't adapted into the game. So wherever they see this system being played, okay, it does adapt. They do change during the game, and I don't see that here yet. That may happen once we get the right players in.
Yeah, but just because you start off in a 3-4-3 shape or a 3-4-2-1 shape, that doesn't mean then you stick to that shape all the way through the game. That's the starting position. You know, in a defensive shape, you see teams then set up as a 4-4-2 in a defensive shape. Arsenal were doing loads of that last season and it worked for them. I'm not too sure whether they've been doing it this season, but teams do adapt to different shapes in how the actual game's going at that period of time. But the players that we've got in this squad haven't got the football brain and the intelligence to actually carry out the instructions of what Ruben Amorim's trying to tell him in certain positions at any given time on the football pitch.
That's exactly what
Because when I'm seeing it, and we discussed it yesterday, in them forward areas, I don't actually know what I'm seeing. You can see a bit of a shape with the 3 and the 2 wing backs, now and again in the midfield area when Agati is playing. But after that, when it goes up top, it's like watching school football, kids football running around. You can't really see an actual shape.
Well,
for me, anyway, you know, people out there might sound different.
Not just for you, for me as well. They don't change. They stick with it, whereas other teams adapt.
Because there's no patterns of play.
Well, you go back to the press conference, and the press conference was telling you, we're nervous. It's weird. We have a game plan. We have it all set before we go out there. And then next thing you know, there's a mentality problem when we go out there. Yeah. And they can't adapt because the mentality's not there. And it's not just been said today, it's been said before, and it's been said by players as well. So it's going out there, they can't adapt. They just can't adapt. The mentality's not there. The strength isn't there. Yes, we've seen it on occasions, which was pointed out today in the press conference. You know, the press did say, they said to Ruben, you're getting it right. The players are fighting the with you all the way. When these away games are there, you know, you're up against City, Arsenal, Liverpool, it was pointed out. Yes, it's there for you. You know, you've got the players' mentality working for you. But at Old Trafford, the nervousness, everything just seems to go out of the window. So playing to a system at Old Trafford, it's just one system, no change throughout, because they end up running round headless chickens when he's made the substitutes and we're getting beat 3-0. You know what I mean? So there's no system. They just can't adapt.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 3-4-3 is dead. I mean, like they say...
No, any system. One system. Any system, this squad, this is what I'm saying. Any system, this squad plays at Old Trafford, they can't adapt. A lot of people have said it out there. I think we're saying the same thing, but in different ways. At Old Trafford, when it needs to change, like Harry Maguire said today, when we go a goal down, we shouldn't be going a goal down. The mentality, you know, it keeps happening. We go a goal down or we concede an early goal. It's like we can't adapt. We're not able to adapt. And it is all down to a mentality problem. But the thing is, we've got to stop making excuses.
Yeah, just going back to the question, I don't think 3-4-3 is dead. I mean, you need new managers in, fresh ideas, etc. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking back to the question earlier on the 3-4-3. You need fresh ideas every now and again, innovation in football. And maybe Ruben Amorim is actually the smartest man in the room. And this is why he's telling everyone just to stick with it. It's going to be my way or there's no other way, because long term, he has that plan. And let's hope in the next season or the next 12, 18 months, we actually start to see some progress on the actual field when he gets the players in he needs.
Yeah, when he gets the players in he needs, yes, we hope, and it should be progress. And he's only been here 2 months, so There's a lot of building to be here.
Do you know what? When I was actually watching Napoli earlier on in the season, they were playing Udinese. I'm sure they were playing three at the back. I'm pretty sure of that. I watched Bayer Leverkusen last night, and they set up in a shape that was similar to what Amarin does.
Yeah, they might do.
It might work in Europe a bit better than it does in the Premier League. There's that argument as well on the European stage.
Yeah, but
he's
changing a full mentality from this squad, and he's only been here 2 months, and it's going to take a long time, and it's going to bring in, and it's going to take fresh faces. This squad's not going to be able to do it, and they're not going to be able to interchange while the game's on. And he's clearly saying that.
Yeah. Vincent McDonald from our members club, cheers for your super chat. It says, I think this is part of Ineos's transfer strategy to suit Amarin's system. Sell assets to buy wing backs and technical number 10s.
Well,
I don't think you're far off it there, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, but if that's the case, we clearly know there's lots of players leaving at the end of the season. You know, players are out of contract. Players need to go. Players need to go now. But it doesn't look as though, you know, Casemiro needs to go now. He's not getting on the pitch. He clearly can't play in any way for Ruben Amorim. He's not effective in any way because he's not using him. You've got Eriksen. There's loads. I could keep going on and on and on. But if you get rid of all these players, really, is there anyone out there where you can definitely say in the next fortnight they're definitely coming in?
Lightning says, I would argue we're playing a 5-3-2 now because these managers keep playing, well, the manager keeps playing defenders, and I'd actually agree with you, away from home, with the likes of Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool, it was definitely a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-1-1. But here at Old Trafford, you want entertaining football, let's have it right. You want attacking football, and when they open up this team, that's when the gaps start being left. And it comes back to instructions, adapting to certain systems at any given moment. A lot of these players just can't do it. Let's face facts.
Well, that's a criticism what's being said about Ruben Amorim. He's playing too many defenders. But the thing is, you can't trust him. Yes, we're not getting the ball up to the forwards. It's not working, the attacking phase and all that, because there's too many... This is what people are saying, that there's too many defenders on the pitch. But Ruben Amorim might just look at it in a different way than I look at it, Kieran, and yourselves look at it. I need defenders on here.
I know, but like this is me talking to you and everyone out there. What else is he meant to do?
No, I'm saying
there's actually no other players to actually choose from.
No,
you know,
that's
in
right.
that right wing back spot, everyone was telling me when we signed Maguire, he was this marauding fullback, proper attacking, taking players on, getting crosses in. I've not seen it since he's come to Manchester United. A very, very good fullback, Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
But in the last few weeks, when he's been playing that wing back position, are you seeing an actual attacking threat from Maguire? I'm not really seeing it. He's backing his players up with good positional sense when defending. I'm all over that fantastic job. But going forward, you know, is he actually giving you any more than what Deleuze is on the left-hand side? I mean, in that first half, you go back to that Brighton game, Deleuze was actually taking up some really good positions. And a lot of yous out there who are regular viewers know my view on Deleuze. He lets you down in the big moments in the attack and defence.
Yeah.
And I've seen nothing to change my mind in recent weeks. But for me, Maguire, you know, Deleuze, we need two wing-backs in my position. I think
that's what's going to happen. But
Maguire on the right-hand side of the three, I'm happy with that. But as a wing-back...
I think
question marks for me.
I think you're going to see wing backs brought in by Ruben Amorim, his players, and that's when you'll see a change, and hopefully it'll turn round.
The Destroyer, that's what I'm going to call you. Thanks for your super chat again, mate. Fair analysis, time will tell. I am not sold yet. Fair enough, mate. It's all about opinions, and yeah, we give our opinion. We're not always right, but this is what it's all about, getting you all involved so you can give your opinions as well.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
But it's going to take a lot of time because it's going to take a lot of players to change this round.
Yeah. Patrick Dorgu, though. I'm getting a bit confident all of a sudden. I don't know if it's because there's been a bit of doom and gloom, I was going to say over the past couple of days, but it's been a lot longer than that, really, hasn't it? That we might actually get a deal done here with him. And he's a left wing back, right wing back as well. I've seen actually some videos as well.
Yeah, he's a wing back, but I'm not full of beans that this will get through. I'm not. I'm still sticking to, I don't think we're going to buy anybody in January. I look at these reports, the initial bid what went in, the clubs 10 million apart So for me, I think there's a long way to go with this, and I don't think United will push it. Yes, there's other interest in him.
The only reason I'm confident is, I'll just give you an update of the latest from Fabrizio Romano. Says a formal bid for Dorgu was worth 27 million plus add-ons, and that's in euros. Price tag what Lecce have given him, though, is a 40 million euro package. But I did see some news today. Where are we? Let's get on it. That Lecce have submitted an official bid to Estrela in Portugal for their fullback, Danilo. And he's an under-21 player for Portugal. So if they're submitting bids for fullbacks, put 2 and 2 together, am I getting 4 or am I way off the mark and getting 7?
No,
I think Man United and Lecce are there or thereabouts. I think I'm getting a deal done. I
think the deal, but what you're saying there, the deal will get done if they get their man.
Yeah, if they get the replacement Danilo here.
Well, how many times have we seen that fall through? It is January. Will it happen in the summer? I don't know. Very difficult in January. And it's not often you really see big money paid and they want more money. I think there's a problem here. But hey, I might be wrong. I might be, I don't know what it is. Maybe the air's getting to me and I'm being pessimistic about transfers. But it's January and really there's not that much what goes on. Yeah. And United really need to see what for me, this is for me, my opinion. They need to see and get the best what they can of what they've got now, and then make the changes in the summer. I think what it is, I think if he brings in this player, I think he's only going to be messed up by what's going on inside United. I think United and Sir Jim Ratcliffe have to get it sorted now, who they definitely want out in the summer and who they definitely want in. And that has to be done in the first week. There is no messing about it. It can't go on throughout the summer. So I would rather wait, keep the people here, right, so everyone can see who's not trying, who's going to be staying, who's worth keeping, and then sort it out in the summer instead of bringing in people from abroad who think I'm going to Manchester United. Then suddenly I've got people here who can't be bothered, who are just here for the money, who've got bad attitudes. So that's how I see January, and that's how I see what should happen in the summer.
Yeah, a lot of he's getting involved on that. Imagine if we actually do sign him, though, and then he puts him as a number 10 when we're all thinking we need a wing-back. He'd play full-back for Lecce, and he's in a number 10 position.
Well, the thing is, I don't want to bring somebody in the deep end, because that's what it is. I mean,
he's a young kid as well, and is he 20 years old, Dorgu? Yeah.
He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He needs to come in with the fresh faces who then will be looked upon and go, right, these are Ruben Amorim's men. We're working round these players. We're not working round you, and we're not working round you.
Just to go back to Garnacho, what I was discussing before. I mean, if you do let Garnacho go for whatever deal does get agreed, and then you don't bring a replacement in, that is leaving us short then. Especially with the future of Rashford up in the air as well. Whether we'll actually see him putting on a United shirt again, it is then leaving us short, especially with Anthony possibly still going out on a loan deal. If that's been done or not already, let me know.
I think what's going to happen here, for me, it's clear. I think you'll see maybe 2 fresh faces from the youth sides and that in that squad there tomorrow. I know that some youth players have been brought in just for training with the squad, but I think there's 1 or 2 players there what they've got their eye on in the youth, who've been playing with the under-21s, and I think that's what you'll see. I know Amas was training with United for quite a while. He went back in to the under-21s because he wasn't getting the match game, and he's played well. I thought he'd gone astray, Amas, but he was training with them, but getting no game time. Now he's gone back with the under-21s, and he's playing game time, and he's playing well. That's the word out there, that everything's looking good for him. So you just don't know fully what's going on behind the scenes with these players who are ready to take that next step. I think the next step, if you look at the youngsters what have been in, like your Mainu, like Garnacho, they made it last year. So this year, I think that they're being looked at being tried every now and again, and then come the summer, that's the next jump, the next youth. And I think that's me. I think that's what's going on. I think we'll see in the summer 3, maybe 4 players pushed up with some new players coming in, and then obviously the players what we can't get rid of, they're there.
Oh, sorry, I just started having a read in the chat there. A few of you putting some good comments in. I think there's a little bit of a row going on in, between 2 or 3 of you. I've seen one comment saying you can't shame me into changing my mind, but obviously play fair with each other. It is just a matter of opinions, so respect each other's opinion. But I was going to ask you for a score prediction for tomorrow.
For tomorrow?
Yeah.
3-2.
Yeah, we can't get beat by Rangers.
Well, the thing is, Rangers...
Surely.
What do you mean we can't get beat?
Listen,
their football in the Europa League is a hell of a lot better than what's going on in the Scottish League. Okay, they're coming here. They want to win. They need to win. There is going to be a battle. Okay, the problem with this is that what can I say?
Also, it'd be interesting to see the response though from the players of what has gone on in the changing room after the Brighton game with Amarin smashing tellies up as well.
There'll be no change. I'm telling you now.
Do you think it could get worse possibly because of some of the stuff he's come out with? Or
he said that. Yeah. This is how it's going to be. Yeah. You'll only get moments this year now. No, it won't change. It's not going to change the mentality of some of these players. Some of these players have already got their eye on leaving in the summer anyway.
Yeah, I think.
And they already know that they don't fit into the system. No, nothing's going to change. Nervousness, weird and all that, making excuses. It's all going to go on. These things, we're going to come up again. They're making excuses. Another player's going to turn around and say, well, we was nervous coming out. And that's not going to change. And we've just got to hope that we do get some good results. And really, 3-2 against a side what's coming here, which will go all-out attack. And that's what they do. They do attack in Europe. And they have got some legs and some lungs on them. So I'm expecting a really lively game tomorrow.
Okay. I'm not giving a score prediction, but thanks for joining us, everyone. Getting involved in the chat with your own opinions. Smash a like on today's video if you want to help support the channel. And we'll be back tomorrow, straight after the game, with a match reaction. So if you want to come and join us, like I say, get that notification on and we'll see you there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Yes.
With a Manchester United win.
A win, 3-2.
That's it, 3-2. I'll go 3-2 with you. Thank you, everyone.